What's up guys and welcome to another track guide. This week we have the Lamborghini GT3 at Spa for the new GT3 series in low fuel motorsports. And this is a crown jewel in all kinds of GT3 racing. I had so much fun making the setup for this car, and I gotta confess, I got a little bit too carried away and I spent over 3 hours developing an insane setup that I actually had to clone and dial down to release it to you guys in 2 different versions. If you want the setup that I use for this lap and that I'm gonna use for all of my races, I recommend taking it a little bit easier and trying it out first on a practice session, because it can be a little bit too aggressive and too oversteery in all parts of every corner throughout the whole lap. But if that's not your kind of thing, there's also a safe setup to go with it. Just reminding you that our lovely YouTube members are getting access to all track guide contents with a 2-day head start compared to their competition. So if you want to become part of that group and support the work that I do, make sure you click the join button and don't forget to also join my Discord community to get the setups, ghost car, telemetry files, and all of the necessary information you need to schedule a coaching session with me, just like dozens of other LFM drivers have already done. Now let's get into the track guide. Coming into turn 1, keep the car in 4th gear, hitting the rev limiter until the moment of braking, which is gonna be the 100 board. Now brake hard and in a straight line, trying to extract every bit of braking performance this car can give us. And just like any other GT3 I've ever posted a video with, you can abuse the braking on initial turning, so leaning on the ABS will be your safest and fastest approach. Our line here should be a very sharp turn-in, trying to straight line the exit to get as much traction as possible into the fast section coming up ahead. Eau Rouge can be taken flat if you respect the car and give it enough space to make it through the turn. So use as much curb on the left as you can to open up for the right-hander, but keep in mind that the car is gonna be very lively throughout the whole corner. So keep your steering movements very smooth and you should be fine. Brake hard once the outside curb starts and keep the car on tarmac, because climbing onto the curb might trigger your ABS and diminish your braking performance. After braking in a straight line, start turning in and get the car down into 2nd gear while trying to avoid going beyond the inside curbs. The final right-hander for the series of corners is the most important one, but it actually starts on this one. So don't try to build too much speed for this left-hander, because if you do, you're gonna have a weird line for the last corner, which is probably going to result in you spinning over the inside curb. Start braking hard about a car length into the outside curb and carry the brakes very deep into the corner. Trailing a small amount of brake will immensely help us in getting enough rotation to make it through this corner fast. And you need to police yourself to not get on throttle too soon, because if you do, that's gonna result in a massive amount of understeer that once you try to correct it with more steering, will probably result in you spinning because of the massive amount of crossweight jacking you put into the car. This is a corner where there isn't much to be gained with aggression. Just be patient and brake lightly and focus on a good exit. And don't forget that there is a very nasty gravel trap at the outside of this turn, and getting into that will probably ruin your lap and your race. Pouhon is a very delicate corner because we are running a very low wing setup. So gently go over the outside curb to give ourselves some more space and downshift into 4th gear without upsetting the car. There is no need to get on throttle super early because more often than not that will just result in you going wide and overheating your tires. Start braking once the outside curb starts and aim for a late apex. We should take this corner in 3rd gear trying to keep up momentum, but if you like a little bit more rotation on corner entry, you can downshift into 2nd just like I did here. These downhill braking zones can be very brutal on mid-engine GT3 cars, but especially in the Audi and the Lambo. So brake hard once the outside curb starts and release a lot of brake pressure before turning in. Don't try to carry too much momentum because the car doesn't take this corner very well and you can probably oversteer and lose the car. Start braking hard once the tire marks begin on the inside part of the straight and get the car all the way down into 1st gear. You can give yourself some more room by going over the outside curb on the final part of braking, and not only that will help you carry more speed, but that will also give you a much straighter line over this very tricky inside curb. After clearing the first part of the chicane, try to open up the left-hander as much as possible, but don't make the same mistake as I did. I got a little bit too greedy with the throttle and that caused me to get very out of shape for this final turn. So keep your blip of throttle very minute and focus on getting a good exit after you cleared the left-hander. So that was a lap around Spa with the Lamborghini Huracan GT3, and I hope this track guide was helpful to your week of racing in low fuel motorsports. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the hot lap.